Really appreciate you guys inviting me to be here. Super excited to talk about the integration with SAP B1. Um, the way that we're going to structure it today is just going to give you guys a brief intro on Square. Then I'll go into Square as a payments platform because, as you might know, Square is a credit card processor as well as a point of sale system. And the value of having both together is significant for a lot of our merchants. Then I'll dive into the SAP and Square integration, give you a high-level overview of what it entails before diving into a point-of-sale demo and actually showing you a demo of the integration, how the data flows into SAP. After that, we'll go over hardware options, some of the limitations of the integration. We'll go over a case study and talk about next steps if you are interested in exploring the integration for your own business. So first, just want to begin by saying you've probably known Square as this little white reader. You know, probably at some point you've been to a coffee shop or a farmer's market or a retail store and seen someone taking payments on Square. Now that is how we started, and we since then have grown a lot, and the businesses that have been using Square have grown a lot. And have needed much more sophisticated and robust needs, which is why we began partnering with SAP. So Square can handle the point of sale, we can handle the payment processing, and then that data will flow into SAP, which obviously has much more robust accounting, financial reporting, and inventory abilities than Square does by itself. Diving into Square as a payments platform. Again, we started as that little white reader, but in creating that little white reader for small businesses to use, we actually ended up creating one of the most sophisticated and secure payments platforms on the market. Some of the things that make us unique is, first of all, just the ease to set it up, the ease of use of Square. You can sign up for a Square account and start taking payments literally within minutes, which is something that was really unheard of when we first launched the market. We're also known for a very clear pricing. When we started, it was really difficult to understand how much you're paying for processing. The merchant processor would tell you you had one rate, but then there'd be a different rate for rewards cards and a different rate for American Express, and there'd be a statement fee and a PCI compliance fee, and then there'd be a batching fee and authorization fee, and by the end of the month, it was just kind of confusing to understand how much you're actually paying. With Square, we have flat rate pricing. And when you factor in the fact that there's no other additional fees, there's no other monthly fees, there's no variable fees for different cards, our pricing ends up being actually very competitive to the competition. We also will refund the processing fee when the merchant issues a refund, or when you would issue a refund. So again, it just kind of goes into this idea that this transparent, clear pricing helps you save money in the long run. We also offer priority phone support in-house. So if you have any issues with your account, you'll always be able to call someone at Square and actually reach a human being. And because the payment processor and the point of sale is integrated, you don't have to sit there wondering why that payment isn't going through or why there's an issue and who you have to call. You know that there's one number you have to call, and then we'll be able to figure that out for you. Every Square account also comes with $250 of chargeback protection. And so what that means is that even if you lose a dispute under $250, we will actually eat the cost of that dispute, and we'll cover it for you. For all other disputes, we actually don't have any dispute charges as well. Most of the processors will charge like $5 to $25 for a dispute. We don't do that. We will fight all the disputes on your behalf. We have an in-house team that you can actually call as well and actually get a human being on the phone if you need any help. Offline mode, so we will actually store payments for up to 72 hours offline and then process them when you're back online. So if you're doing a lot of trade shows, you have spotty internet, you have maybe reps who are remote and not always in places where they're able to get online, this is a great way to make sure that you're never losing a payment, never losing a sale because you can't connect to the internet. Standard deposits are within 1 to 2 business days. And then also just by using Square, you're PCI compliant. So because we make the hardware, because we make the software, because we are the payments platform, there's no need to unencrypt the card data in order to send it to another party. And so because it's encrypted end to end, you are PCI compliant just by using Square. And then finally, Square Secure, that's our suite of fraud protection services. We have machine learning algorithms that take 65 billion transactions, feed it through these algorithms, and are able to detect fraud well before it happens. So moving on to the fun stuff, Square and SAP. So the high-level overview, we're going to actually go into a demo, but just wanted to show you a little bit about what the integration has today. So when you have a transaction through the point of sale, that will get posted into AR invoices within SAP. When there's a refund, that gets posted into credit memos within SAP. Let's say you have new items, new price lists, tax codes. All of that will live in SAP and will be reflected in Square. So there's no need to independently go into Square and add inventory or add items. It'll just kind of mirror whatever lives in SAP. And then whatever inventory is out into the warehouses will also be reflected in Square as inventory stock levels. So when you receive more inventory, you put it into SAP and then it shows up in Square. There's also a bi-directional sync between Square customers and SAP business partners. So if you have a new customer that comes to the store, you can create that customer within Square and it'll show up as a business partner within SAP, and vice versa. If there's someone you added as a business partner in SAP, it'll show up as a customer within Square. And now new is that we also have an integration with Boyum, so you can actually pay SAP invoices within B1 with Square. So if you're creating sales orders, you have invoices, you can pay that down in SAP now using Square as the payment processor. Some new things that have come out recently. One is that we now have the ability to create a sales order with a deposit in Square with the advanced order modifier. I'll show you what that looks like. This is a little bit of a workaround. We are going to have a better solution sometime next year, but it is possible now to take a deposit on an order. We're also able to aggregate the entire day's cash and carry in one invoice. When I say cash and carry, what that refers to is coming in, buying a good, and walking out with it. So it doesn't necessarily mean cash. It can be credit as well. Later in 2019, we're also going to come out with the following features. The ability to create and receive against purchase orders, the ability to do stock recounts, and also to store stock transfers within the Square point of sale. We're also going to come out with the ability to pay invoices at the Square point of sale without having to enter the invoice number manually, which is the way that you have to do it today. There's 3 different point of sale options that we offer. The first is the Square point of sale. This is most likely what you see out and about if you're going to, your coffee shop or farmer's market. All-purpose point of sale. It's free to download and use, which is why it's the most popular one. But there is an additional charge for employee management. Now that's an optional charge. You don't have to subscribe to employee management. But if you want to have different permissions for different employees, it's definitely recommended. You probably don't want your employees going in there and looking at all your reports or changing prices. So this allows you to kind of have those controls. Employee management will also allow you to have a time clock, and it'll also allow you to track employee sales. So you'll be able to see, how much each employee sold compared to the other ones. This point of sale will run on iPhones, Android, tablets, iPads, any kind of mobile device it'll work on. The other 2 points of sale will only work on iPads, but they are much more vertical specific and feature rich for those verticals. So Square for Retail is more retail specific features and UI. You can do exchanges, you can view inventory locations. You can actually even print barcodes from the dashboard. It comes with unlimited employee management. So if you have a lot of employees, it might make sense to go with this feature. Square Restaurants is really intended at full service restaurants. Quick service restaurants are still probably a better fit for the Square point of sale. The Square Restaurants will include table map, course management, other things that are specific to full service restaurants. I'm not going to demo Square Restaurants today because most people who use SAP B1 are would probably fit in better with Square Point of Sale and Square for Retail, but just wanted you to be aware that that's a point of sale option that we have as well. Questions here before I dive into the demo?
Yeah, we do have one question from Fernando. And Fernando's asking, are all POS versions integrated to SAP?
Yes. So, little caveat. All of these points of sale are based on the same catalog. So, whenever you have inventory or items or prices in Square, those inventory items, prices, customers, everything will be reflected across all the different points of sale. So you can use all the different points of sale. It's the same integration to SAP, so they'll all work. The difference is that the UI is different among these different points of sale. The way that Square for Restaurants works is it's much more heavy on modifiers. So to give you an example of what a modifier is, let's say you go to a restaurant, you order a burger, you want to add avocado. That add avocado is a modifier. It's not treated the same way from an inventory perspective. So it won't get pulled out of inventory when you use a modifier. So although they all integrate with SAP, the experience with Square Point of Sale and Square for Retail is much better than the experience for Square for Restaurants. If all you care about is reporting customer sales and items, the Square for Restaurants integration would still work. All right, so moving on to a little bit of a demo. I'm gonna get out here. So what you see here is the Square Point of Sale. So this is the classic Square Point of Sale that you're able to download for free from the App Store, from the Android Store, and start using on your phone, iPad, Android, whatever you got. You can see it's much more of a grid-based design. I can select items this way. It'll pop up this modifier screen. I can also set it up to just directly add to the cart. But when I pop up this modifier, I'm able to select an option for a sales order. So I'm going to pick point of sale transaction. This means cash and carry. This means I'm putting something into the cart, I'm paying for it now, and I'm leaving the store with it. So I'm going to select this item, do one other item. And you can see now it went up by 2. If I wanted to put in a discount, I can click on the item, scroll down, and I can add a discount by toggling on the friends and family discount. If I want to take off the tax, I can toggle off the tax. So if it's a nonprofit client or something, I can do that. I can add a customer by clicking on this down arrow down here. And I could say add customer. I can create a new customer, or I can select an old one. If I select an old customer, I'm able to scroll down and see information about that customer. So when they first came in, how long they've been a customer, how much they usually spend. And I can also pull up all of their previous receipts and see what they've purchased in the past. So I'm going to go ahead and add David to the sale, click charge. I can swipe a card here, or I can select cash if they're paying cash. And that's how I ring up a receipt. And then he'll get an email or text receipt, however he wants to receive his receipt. You can also hook up a printer and have it print as well. Now, if I wanted to create a sales order, the way that I would do that is I would select an item. It would pop up this screen. I can go ahead and create sales order, add it. Here, I would have to make sure to add a customer. I'm going to click David again and go ahead and charge it. If I wanted to split up items on separate screens, I do have these tabs. So if you have different kinds of items that you want to split up, you have tabs here. I can view the items in a list format if I wanted to kind of scroll through and find all the items this way. I can hook up a barcode scanner if I wanted to scan in my items. Or if I wanted to put in a custom amount, I can do that as well. So if I just wanted to charge them some amount but not take anything out of inventory, I have the ability to do that too. If I click on this blue 3 over here, I have my other menu. I can pull up transactions, issue runs directly from the screen, see any other sales that I've had. I can also look up reports and view my reports for a given time period, see how many sales I had, what refunds I had, how payments were taken, what discounts were given, and actual items that were sold. Now let's compare that to retail point of sale. So you can see how this would work for some light retail functionality, for quick service restaurants, for services. You know, if you don't have like a super robust inventory, this method works really well. Retail point of sale is much more search focused. You not only can search for item name, but you can search for variations, customers. So if I wanted to search for a customer name, I can pull it up very easily. I can search for items. So items will come up. I can also view inventory from this point of sale. That's one of the things that's unique. So if I click on inventory, I can select, I'm going to select this one, more info, and I can see how much I have in store, and I can also see how much I have in other locations. So if you're a multi-location business and you have to have the ability to view inventory elsewhere, the retail point of sale system is definitely going to be a better fit. The other thing that I have the ability to do here is change the price on the fly. So this price gets pulled from SAP, but if I go in here and I have someone come in and they say, you know what, the item that you showed me is damaged, you know, can you give me a discount? And I say, sure, I can go ahead and, you know, give a discount for that item. It's a very inexpensive item. And then the next time this item gets rung up, it'll be rung up as the original price, not as the price that I just changed it to. And again, here you have the ability to create a sales order directly from the point of sale too. The UI here is also designed to be a little bit more retail friendly. So if I wanted to add a discount, I could also just swipe to the left, click apply discount, and then the discount feature comes up. If I wanted to take off the tax, I just swipe and I can remove the tax. The other thing that this point of sale will do that's a little bit different is it'll show you the discounts and it'll show you the discounts and taxes. So you'll actually see, okay, both of these are non-taxed. The discount only applies to this item. And because it's not a cart function, you can actually see the entire name of the item. You can catch any mistakes before you actually ring up anyway. You do have the same reporting ability here. So I can view a sales report, look similar to the report from the other point of sale, and be able to see any transactions, how I took payments, any items that were sold from this point of sale as well. I'm going to go ahead and charge this item. I'm about to switch gears and show you the point of sale, the integration. Actually, I lied. One more thing I wanted to show you is going to be how to issue a refund. So I'm going to go into transactions. I'm going to pull up this last transaction. I'm going to do an exchange. So this is something that's unique to this point of sale, is actually the ability to do an exchange. So if I go in here, if I click this orange refund button right now, I can refund it all to the customer's credit card or cash or however they made the payment. If I click into search items, I can then add a customer, add an item, and now suddenly this this turns into an exchange. So they're returning these two items and they're buying this item. So I can go ahead and click refund, and I can refund it to a gift card, which works like a store credit, or I can refund it back to to cash or to card. Last thing that you can do here is actually save a cart. So let's say a customer comes into the store, they get a bunch of things. they come to the front, they say, oh my God, I forgot my wallet in the car. You can save the cart and actually pull it up later and be able to ring up the customer when they come back. And this is available on both points of sale. So that's generally the difference in the 2 point of sale options. There are a few other nitty gritty things to go through, but basically the biggest difference is that the UI is different. You're going to make probably fewer mistakes with retail point of sale. If you need exchanges, if you need barcode printing, those are just features that are better suited for retail point of sale. So just bringing up a couple transactions. I'm going to go into the bridge. This is the integration. Most of our customers have this set up to run automatically every hour on the hour. You can also manually trigger a sync, which is what I'm going to do here. And so this will manually sync it. Just takes a minute for it to do so. But when I sync, it'll sync transactions, items, customers, price lists, catalog, so that it all appears within SAP as well.
Awesome. So we do have a question while we're waiting for that. So Josh asks, do returned items enter back into the inventory in SAP? So will that sync with SAP once items are returned?
So within Square, I don't know if you saw that in the point of sale, you have the option to skip restock or not. So if you did not skip the restock, if you wanted to restock the item, then items will be added back into SAP.
Okay, and
if someone returns like a damaged item, you can skip the restock, and then it won't get added back.
Okay, and so is that automatic to restock, and then there's an option to skip restock?
Yeah, let me actually, while we're waiting for this, I can just show you that. Let's go back into point of sale. I'm going to go into transactions. Here's a transaction that we had. I'm going to do a return. And here it says return or exchange, select the item. Next, and now it says restock. So if I select restock, it'll go into inventory. If I don't select restock and say skip restock, the implication here is that it's damaged or there's some reason why we don't want to put it back into the inventory. And here I can just skip restock.
Awesome. Perfect. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Okay, so this got synced. So we are going to go into SAP. And we're going to go ahead and look at the last AR invoice. And here we have the stickers that we purchased, as well as information about the order. So we have the item number, we have the description, any discounts that were applied, all of that gets synced here. You can also take one back. We can see some of the other transactions that we just had. The way that this works is it'll create an AR invoice, and then it'll auto-close it, unless we use that sales order functionality. The other thing that's kind of cool is we can actually copy this URL, paste this into a browser, and actually see the receipt that the customer got. So we can see exactly what the customer sees. We can also take a look at the relationship map to see the relationship between the invoice and the payment. Again, if we had a sales order or a deposit, we'd be able to see how much was taken upon deposit and how much is still outstanding as well. That's the gist behind the integration. So a few different hardware, software kind of bundle options. The first is going to be the Square stand with Square Point of Sale. So this stand is $169, not including the iPad. And that's to own. So that's not leasing, that's not yearly, $169 and it's yours. That'll also come with the contactless and chip card reader, so you can take EMV. And then, as you can see in this picture, you can actually swipe cards and gift cards in the stand. Really simple to set up and use. You can pick up these stands from Amazon, from Best Buy, from Staples, or through Square, which is nice because maybe you're having a big sale and you need an extra terminal really quick. You can just go run to the store, pick up a Square stand, and not have to wait for us to ship it or anything. You do get offline mode on the swipes. And then this is also nice because it can run third-party apps as well. So if you have an iPad, but you also want to be able to run like an employee scheduling software or something else that's specific to your industry, you can run that off of this iPad. The other option is Square Stand with retail point of sale. Exact same hardware, but then you can run this retail point of sale that I just demoed for you. And then you can do all the things that retail point of sale offers, like barcodes and better inventory management, better customer management. Because it comes with unlimited employee management, you can track employee sales, time clocks, and you can also set permissions for those employees. And then you also get offline mode here. Then you also have your mobile and line busting options. So maybe you have one register, like one Square Stand, but then you want to be able to scale up and scale down really easily. You want to be able to line bust. You want to be able to go remote and take payments off of your phone. You can do that with these different mobile options. So these will plug right into the phone. This will work via Bluetooth. The MagStripe reader is free for the first one, $10 for any additional readers. Better for low volume. So if you're a service business, if you're doing, I would say something under like 50 transactions a day, this is better. The wear and tear of these is a little more of an issue than with our other readers. And again, works with any device. And then it's $49 for a contactless and chip card reader. You can process chip cards, Apple Pay, Google Pay, Samsung Pay, all the pays. It's actually the fastest chip card reader on the market. I believe last time I checked, it was like 2.4 seconds to process a chip card, which is almost on par with MagStripe at this point. This will hold the charge for 8 hours on its own, or you can buy the dock and have it constantly charging. Another great option if, again, you're going on site and you want to take payments directly from the customer. This is our newest reader that just came out. It's called the Square Terminal. So all-in-one terminal. Unlike an iPad, you can't use it for any third-party apps. It's just going to run Square. You can dip a card in here, swipe a card here, and my personal favorite feature is that you can actually print a receipt. There's a receipt printer built into this terminal. What makes this different from the terminals that you probably see when you go to like a grocery store or I don't know, a gas station or something like that, is that this actually runs a full point of sale on the actual screen. So if you can almost see it here, there's a little button here that says library. You can actually access your inventory and access your items and ring up specific items directly from this device as well. It comes with 24/7 support. Great option if you want to be using Square, but you have a computer system that you're running for something else, or you need to be using SAP, but you want like a simple point of sale as well because you don't want to take payments within SAP. This device is $399, but for a limited time offer, we have a $300 processing credit for new customers. So effectively, it's $99 if you sign up now. Great. So some current limitations. We don't support every single industry. So we don't take payments for drugs, paraphernalia, tactile knives, guns. There's a couple other kind of fringe use cases where we're not able to work with. If you suspect that you might be in that high risk category, let me know. I'll tell you for sure. We don't have any dynamic tax calculation either. So if you're doing road shows and you need the tax to change every time you go to a new state, that's not going to happen from the point of sale. That the tax codes get pulled from SAP, so you'd have to change tax within SAP in order for it to get reflected in Square. There's also no customer-specific pricing. You can apply discounts for certain customers, but it's not going to show a different price list for each customer. And then there's no credit enforcement if you're using a payment account. You're also not able to convert between SAP and Square invoices. So both SAP and Square have their own invoices product, but they don't work together yet. That may be something that we develop in 2019. But today, if you take a SAP invoice, you do have the ability to pay it in Square, but you aren't able to see the details of that invoice. And then if you have a Square invoice, that doesn't show up at all within SAP. And then I mentioned this before, but retail point of sale is only compatible with iPad, not with the other devices. And then finally, we do have about a 25,000 SKU limit for each location. Now that if you have more SKUs than that within SAP, but you only need, let's say 10,000 to show up within Square, that's okay. That's just what we can show within Square at a time. Support. So we do have 24/7 US-based phone support available at that number. You can find the support token online or from me, essentially. I'll be able to find you your specific support token. We also have a support center with thousands of articles. This is a really, really great place to go to learn more about Square and specific questions. And then we also have a seller community, which allows sellers to ask each other questions about Square, kind of answer their own questions. And this is also curated by our support team as well. So there's some good information here as well. Want to share with you a case study that we did with Pioneer. So Real Life Basic is one of our mutual customers. They came from front of house. So front of house is a really large distribution and wholesale restaurant supply company. And then they wanted to start this pop-up shop. And so because it was a pop-up shop, they didn't really want to invest in a really expensive or super robust point of sale integration. They wanted something that was really plug and play, that was super easy to set up, really easy to train people on, and would be really quick to start using. They really liked that Square was not an add-on within SAP. It's something that just runs in the background. And they also really liked that they didn't have to buy any additional licenses to use Square with SAP. So there wasn't really any additional training for SAP users. There was very simple training for staff because Square is very easy to use as a point of sale system. And you can see the quote below that it really resolved a lot of problems for them because there wasn't a whole lot of overhead that they had to invest in order to run a point of sale out of this pop-up. Wanted to share the pricing that we have as well. So the pricing is different depending on the point of sale option that you have. So the Square point of sale, there's no monthly fee. You pay for the hardware and you own it. The card present rate is 2.75%. Card not present is 2.5% plus 15 cents. And then any e-commerce or invoices price is 2.9% plus 30 cents. Square for restaurants, there's a monthly charge of $60 a month plus $40 for additional devices. And then the card present rate is a little bit different, 2.6% plus 10 cents. And then Square for retail is $60 a month plus $20 for additional devices. By the way, both of these will include one device. It's just for a second device, you pay $20. And then the card present rate is 2.5% plus 10 cents on those as well. If you're processing more than $250,000 with Square, you'll probably be eligible for custom rates. I'll go over the process of how you can get a custom rate or see if you qualify. And then implementing the integration will cost about 4 days of labor from Pioneer V1. So if you're interested, if this is something you want to move forward with, the next step would be to contact your consultant to learn if Square is right for you. We would have to collect 3 to 12 months of your merchant statements. You could share that with your consultant, and then they'll in turn share it with Square, and we'll let you know the processing rate that you would qualify for. Your consultant can also help you set up an additional demo. We can go over any specific questions, and they'll be able to quote you for the implementation and give you a timeline for how long that implementation will take. And then after that, signing up for a Square account really just takes a few minutes from the Square side. So you would sign up through squareup.com/signup. You can order your hardware through there and be ready to go fairly quickly. That is all that I had to share. Any other questions from the audience?
Yeah, so I'll just go ahead and open the lines. If anyone has any questions, please let us know. Otherwise, in the meantime, I do have a couple questions for you, Megan.
Mm-hmm.
So my first question is, can you run Square on both SQL and HANA?
Yes, you can. Good question. Yeah, so it'll work with both versions.
Okay, awesome, perfect. And I also wanted to know how easy is it to kind of upgrade, downgrade, or change to different point of sale apps within Square?
Yeah, great question too. So as I mentioned before, it all runs off of the same catalog. And with regard to the actual implementation of the integration, it's the same. So you can start off with Square Point of Sale, decide you want to use Square Retail, sign into a Square Retail account, and then all of your inventory will just show up. So really easy to switch back and forth. We have a number of users that use them side by side. So like I said, there is a additional $20 a month for additional devices within Square Retail. Maybe you just want to use Square Retail on one device, and then you can run Square Point of Sale on all the others. You can really mix and match however you need to make it work for your business.
Awesome. Perfect. All right. And if we don't have any other questions, I just want to say thank you so much to Megan and everyone who joined us today. It was a great webinar and I learned a lot about squares. It was good.
Yeah, thanks so much. Pleasure being here.